The Big Lead, Dori Monson Show exclusive.
We've been telling you about how many Seattle police officers may get fired in about a week and a half because they are not vaccinated, and we've been warned that it would reduce staffing to critical levels where Seattle police could not simply respond to many crimes in the city. And a week from Monday, a crime wave could be unleashed because the criminals already know about the impending staffing shortages if Jenny Durkin and Jay Inslee carry through with firing the Seattle officers who are unvaccinated. Still more than 200 unvaccinated would reduce the force by about 25%. And the force is way below the normal staffing level that they need. And so we could have a huge crime wave coming. I do have some exclusive news about the King County Sheriff's Department as we begin this afternoon. An internal document at the King County Sheriff's now illustrates just how bad law enforcement losses are expected to be at the county level. According to this internal document obtained by the Dori Monson Show, at best case scenario, the King County Sheriff's Office believes that they will lose 39 deputies and detectives because of the mandate. At worst, they projected could be 69 officers lost because of the mandate. Now, anywhere between 39 and 69, and you are looking at some catastrophic results for the county as well. As one source told me a few days ago, and they reiterated it today as we obtained these documents, they said, do not plan on law enforcement being able to respond to 911 calls about criminal matters. Because if all of these cops are laid off, then there just simply is not going to be the manpower to respond to it. Another source within one of those departments emailed me and said, Dori, I'm so glad you have a gun because a lot of homeowners may need that in the days and weeks to come. And so we are being warned that this could become one of the most dangerous times in our region's history. We're already tremendously understaffed with police officers at both the city and the county level, and now that we're getting some firm numbers from within the department at King County Sheriff's, they could lose 69 more detectives and deputies in the next week and a half. And if that happens, the response time, you know how huge King County is, especially out in the rural areas. King County is gigantic, and the response time is already slow in the most rural parts of the county, but it could become non-existent. And so the question persists, will Jay Inslee, Dow Constantine, Jenny Durkin, will they really, for the sake of upholding this mandate, put law enforcement in such a situation that the criminals will face very little resistance if they start running roughshod through our cars and our homes and our families and individuals on the street? You have been warned, but things are going to get a lot uglier coming up in the next week and a half unless one of the politicians blinks. And speaking of the King County Sheriff's Office, I have another exclusive here in our Big Lead today.
The Big Lead, Dori Monson Show exclusive.
Another tipster from within the King County Sheriff's Office tells the Dori Monson Show that Sheriff Mitzi Johanknecht, many months ago, said that because of the COVID pandemic, all King County Sheriff's Office travel to conferences and or training sessions is canceled and prohibited. Got it? All King County Sheriff's Office personnel cannot travel to conferences or training because of COVID-19 protocols that say no travel shall be allowed. So what's the exclusive there, Monson? Oops! I forgot to tell you. I guess it doesn't apply to the person at the very top. Mitzi Johanknecht, the lame duck King County Sheriff. On September 13th through the 16th, Mitzi Johanknecht defied her own COVID no-travel policy and, according to my source, went to Boston, Massachusetts for the Major County Sheriffs of America Fall Conference. It was held at the Fairmount Copley Plaza Hotel in Boston. On September 15th at 3 p.m., they had a panel discussion titled Women in Leadership. Now, the reason that's so funny is because Mitzi Johanknecht, according to every source that we have, and I have some really great sources, Mitzi Johanknecht is one of the worst leaders that anybody in law enforcement has ever seen. She's one of two public officials that in my 26 years I have declared to be incompetent at their job because I had really great sources who were in meetings with Mitzi Johanknecht. And when I knew she really went off the deep end is when we confirmed that she had ordered the entire sheriff's office that if anybody says the name Dori Monson in her presence, they will be severely reprimanded. Still love that. Which means she's just not even mentally right. If she's telling people that they cannot utter my name in her presence. But let's get back to this conference now. So Mitzi Johanknecht is the last person you would want attending a leadership forum at a conference. But indeed, she was there. She defied her own no COVID travel policy that's been imposed on the rest of the department, and she attended Boston's Major County Sheriffs of America conference. The moderator of Women in Leadership was a retired cop, Colonel Brenda Dietzman. They had three panelists, and Sheriff Mitzi Johanknecht from the King County Sheriff's Office was one of the three panelists. So while the King County Sheriff's Office continues to suffer from the worst morale, and we talked to the cop who sent out the I'm quitting TikTok last week, and he said he'd fought in combat, 4 deployments overseas where they were losing men and women to terrorist attacks. And he said that was awful. But the morale at the King County Sheriff's Office is even worse. But when you say no travel for any of us, and then you travel, that is not leadership. It's not even close to being leadership. And thank you once again to our sources who told us about the job loss predictions, who told us about Mitzi going to a conference, who a different person confirmed that for us. The King County Sheriff's Office is a disaster under Mitzi Johanknecht.